The Dane and Derek Show is an uncensored, unfiltered podcast. Content warnings can be found in the episode description. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dane and Derek. My name is Derek. You probably know that I make a lot of movies and play a lot of tabletop games, and joining me today, as always, is my good friend Dane.
Hey, I'm Dane. I write, I have and probably continue to do some audio things. And I am soon to be a law student. By the time this comes out, it's going to be even closer.
Yeah, this will be like in June, so
Ooh,
summer. Are you
summer
going to be
last.
your last summer?
No, it's actually kind of like the beginning of the return to summers, honestly.
You're going to love it. I can imagine you're going to fall in love with it all over again. But summer is a great time to start new things, and you're starting new things this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this came out of another episode. This is another one of those we were talking, and then we were like, oh, that'd be a good episode. Starting something new.
Yeah.
Ultimately, one of the hardest things to do, and simultaneously one of the most fulfilling things to do, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think so. Interestingly, I don't know if everybody agrees with you on that point, though. I think a lot of people are really afraid of doing new things.
Oh yeah. I believe it.
Oh yeah, you and I routinely take on new projects and new stuff like all the time, all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like to the point where it's almost toxic. And we've
or it has gotten toxic,
or like it's been a learning experience to like get a fucking handle on it. But I think you're right that regardless, it's still a very difficult thing, even if you enjoy it. Like for example, every time I sit down to start a new writing project, there is that like little bit of inertia, even if it's just like, this is going to be a 15-line poem. Like that's all it is. I'm just doing it for fun. There's no pressure on this, not a damn thing. There's that like first step, right? That's always just a little bit harder than like I find like the middle when you're like rolling along, you know. Sometimes ending things can be tricky.
Yes.
But yeah, this is, I mean, I don't think this is so much us talking about how do you start new things from a creative perspective, is so much of like you and I are both starting new stuff this year. Like, do you want to just like go over like your list of new things that you're doing? And
yeah. So I'm doing another podcast, a movie podcast.
Nice.
So that's a new thing that is really, it's been not struggling to get off the ground. We've been really taking our time with it. My friend Justin and Justin produced Synagogue, which was, I guess, like the old thing we wrapped up that is now the new thing, which is going to all the festivals. And then laterally related to film, doing a lot of really, I'm in that spaghetti phase again, post making a film.
Gotcha.
We're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And I think it's probably going to wind up being like a short or two, a music thing. There's an artist I really want to make a music video for, but I want to make more like a music film for.
Cool.
And like, I like laterally know him. And so I'm trying to put together a pitch for that. But the big thing is a web series.
Oh my.
I've been developing this web series since a little bit before we started filming Synagogue. And it kind of emerged as the thing that I should try and push to do right after Synagogue, because I was like, oh, it's a nice bridge between a short and a feature, which I haven't written a new feature in at least a year now. I'm trying to finish some old features that are not really old, that they were new at the time. And yeah, so it's been a lot of like finessing these ideas into like a concise manner to pitch to people, and in a way that I feel like I can do it. Because I'm definitely in a weird way, now having my work in festivals, I now feel a slight pressure, I guess, to start something new,
Sure.
to do the new thing. Um, but at the same time, I'm trying not to let that pressure boil over and make me make something bad.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I know that a lot of it is me, and I know a lot of it is self inflicted. I know that I put a lot of pressure on myself to constantly be generating. Um, and then outside of that, I I'm gonna be starting martial arts, but hopefully by the time this airs, I have. But I'm recovering from a foot injury. Uh, so that's kind of necessary for martial arts. But
Yep.
that is the big thing. I've taken stock of everything in my life, and not everything in my life. That sounds so dramatic. I looked at what I'm doing and I realized I do a lot of brain lifting. I don't do a lot of body lifting. And I
Yeah.
need something to get out all that extra energy, because if I don't, I'm going to stay up till 2 in the morning, and I can't do that to myself anymore.
Hmm.
So martial arts 2 to 3 times a week is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at starting a new martial art. It is laterally related to Shotokan karate, but it is judo, traditional Japanese judo, and
Nice.
I'm terrified because while I have a grounding in martial arts and an understanding of like the basics and like a lot, there is some crossover. It's a
Hmm.
completely different style with a completely different philosophy. It's all grappling, and I ultimately think it'll be really good, and I'm looking forward to it because I can kind of have something else to. I I can be. I'm basically. I looked basically like it will create a space for me away from my computer and away
Yeah.
from the things that I am tethered to, that can just be mine. It doesn't have to be anyone else's. It can just be mine. And I think that that's why I'm excited to start this. But yeah, so it's a lot of creative endeavors, and then like I guess a health related endeavor.
Hmm.
Um, and we can talk more about like the specifics of these things later. I kind of want to hear what else you're starting besides law school, and I guess including law school, because I'm
Yeah.
sure you're getting ready for that back to school discount shopping things.
Oh God. Um. So yeah, law school is the big one. And honestly, like on some level, there isn't a lot more. Like in a weird sense, kind of what the new thing outside of law school is me trying to sort of consolidate life.
Uh
Like
huh.
the new thing that I'm trying in a similarly big way, but that is sort of incidental and a part of going to law school, but is also not exactly it's not exactly a thing so much, is how do I live a life that is less about me taking up every little thing and every little opportunity and moment, even if those opportunities are like, yeah, hey, Dane, do you want to play in a tabletop game? I have to be like, no, I'm in one already, and that is the one
Right.
I can do, right? Like living
Yeah.
like like I said, like a consolidated life. Which is something I've honestly wanted for a really long time, like something that's always been kind of like a um kind of a dream or goal of mine for living has been like I have like my work, and then I have this like very core set of things that I do really regularly, and I have like a creative endeavor, and that is it. Like there's not like a million things, and even that gets like kind of like cut down into like writing projects. I don't have many right now. Like there was a period where I had like a bunch sort of scattered about, and like at the moment super consolidated down. I'm But as far as like actual new things I'm trying, I or new things I want to do more physical. Like I've been doing a lot of yoga lately, and I want to do more of it. I want to be hiking more again. I was really good about it last year, and this year I've been way worse. um
Mm.
and then I'd like to go back to the gym and do some like weightlifting again, because that's always been pretty um rewarding for me, but I have struggled to do it consistently kind of since high school actually. was when I was really, really good at it. I was able to do some in college, but the time constraints of the music program kind of kept me from it. So there's like some things like that. I'm kind of in the process of starting, like, figuring out what I want my next writing project to be. Because I finished a novella about a month ago, um, which was just this like kind of weird off the cuff thing where I was just like, I have this idea, I'm gonna fucking try it, and then I just sort of did it. And a novella
Nice.
is like, in that case, it was like 25,000 words. So not really all that long, but it was like a lot for kind of an off the cuff thing. Um, and so like currently my writing is just like, I want to have like one big project. Um, I have a project I do with Gracie, which is really nice. But that's pretty low key. And then I want to be refining my novel and novella into like something really polished. Like, and I really
Nice.
want to kind of keep it in the box there. Like, I want to keep it in there and not like deviate too much, like not take on like tons of outside stuff.
Right.
Things like that. So it's like it's kind of like a new way of living for me. Less than like so many new like individual things. But on the other hand, like I'm gonna have 5 new classes in the fall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a completely new schedule. I'm gonna go back to not having a job. That's gonna be new. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot that's new and a lot that just isn't. Like,
Yeah.
um,
I'm
and
curious. Oh, yeah.
no, you go, you go.
I'm curious if this podcast will kind of shift into almost a chronicle of your time in law school as we go, you know?
um,
Like I'm kind of curious like if we'll have a segment where it's like, Dane's update on law school every week.
I mean, on some level, it probably will be, even if it's just like incidental, right? Because we often just like
Right.
talk about what's going on, and like I haven't had a lot going on in like my professional or like kind of day to day life in a really long time. Um, so when we talk, it's usually more about like how I'm doing or what like sort of like projects I'm working on or like hobby stuff. But like I'll have shit to talk about, like essays and tests and shit.
Yeah.
Like that it's definitely going to happen without a doubt. Um, whether or not it's formalized or not.
Mhm.
Um, And you mentioned that you were like scared of judo. Um I'm with
Yeah.
you. I am scared to death of law school because like I've done prep for it, but like I never planned on being a law student, like outside of like when I started planning on you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah.
as
You
like
never
a
thought you'd be in this position.
no, not in a
Yeah.
long-term way. So like I feel like I am coming to law school with like the emptiest cup, which I'm trying to view as a good thing, very much like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I am here to learn everything as much as I can, as fast as I can, and all this cool stuff. Um, but also I feel nervous coming in with so little. Like I don't even feel like I have like a martial arts background. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, I have like 15 plus years going into this,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I have a grounding. I know some fundamentals. I know some basics. I even have a uniform in my closet that I can bring. It's like I have some of like the requisites that you would expect.
Y-
So I
y-
I can't even imagine going into something completely new. I mean, well,
I'm coming in basically being like, I I am good at school and I am interested very much and in this and like tangentially to things that are related to the law, but that's all I got. Like, because
yeah,
I'll be in with people who did like pre-law undergrads or like political science or any number of other things that are distinctly a little bit more related. Um and in the process for applying, I did talk to professors, admin people, and was like, hey, how much of a detriment is the music degree going to be? And they're like, it's not going to be a detriment at all. And I got all kinds of stuff because they're like, we're looking for everybody, and we're looking at work history and your LSAT scores and all this stuff. Like they're
yeah,
like, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. All it's going to do is make you like stand out for better or worse. Like someone was like,
Right.
yeah, just make sure your application's good because someone's going to see music degree and they're going to stop on yours, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's good and bad, right? Like
Right.
when they stop, make sure they put you in the good pile.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
and at the same time, I had another person who's like, you know what? The thing I hate the worst, like the person I don't like the most, is like someone who did poli sci and a pre law degree as a student because they come in thinking they know everything. And I was like, oh, that's really gratifying and that feels good, you know? And
Yeah.
talk to somebody who's like, I did geology, like, and now I'm a professor of law. And I'm like, okay, it can totally be done. But
Right.
it does feel very nerve wracking to be.
Yeah.
It's a complete deviation. It is, and that's totally okay. And I'm ready for something new so badly.
Yeah. That is the other thing too, right? Like, I almost feel like you can feel it in your bones when you need
Mhm.
like a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways. Like, I often compare doing something new as like taking a sunrise hike. Like
Yeah.
the air is the cleanest it is. It's a little bit cold. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but seeing that
Hmm.
sunrise and taking in that first big breath of air is there's nothing quite like that sense of calm and like I guess like good vibes that come over. Um and
There's
like
something exciting about doing something new. There's something really
yeah,
exciting about not knowing what you don't know, right?
exactly. Like I mean that was a huge part about why like I got so invested into podcasting and audio stuff because I knew nothing about how to edit audio or like record sound in a way that was listenable, um,
Mhm.
or like sound outside of the medium of film. And I think that that's something interesting to me. Um, and like, yeah, I feel like it helps keep your brain a sponge, right? Taking up a new thing,
Yeah.
right? Like my brother is the best at this. He every like 1 to 2 years he'll take on a new hobby and he will like master it and then he'll move on. And it's wild to me. He'll get really good at like one thing for like a year or two and then he's like, I'm done. I'm out. I've had my time. I've had fun. Time to find something new. And it's something I
That's
can
awesome.
really commend. Like I can't really do that. Like I like film because within the structure of film I can do new things. Um
Mhm.
Same
Mhm.
with any creative endeavor. Within that structure, you can constantly do new things. You can try new things, but you're still within a boundary. Whereas, he went from like sports to rapping to video editing to filmmaking to YouTubing to like creative writing and to, now he's in like sports management and like statistics and stuff like that. Like he kind of bounces all around, but he like is able to start new things so frequently. And that's something that I think like is really underrated, the ability to start new things and to just do so and to know when you're out of the game, right? Like
Yeah.
that's something that I'm really bad about. Like you were talking earlier about how leaving things can be really difficult. Um and I think
Yep.
leaving something in order to make room for something new is incredibly painful to do. Uh
Mhm.
because you don't want to let go of the thing that you like even if you enjoy it, right? Like cuz like not because like usually like not all the time when you're leaving something it's on negative terms. It's usually on pretty okay to good terms, and so quitting something, letting something go can be really painful because you enjoy it, so why would you want to let it go, right?
Even
um
when you're on negative terms, it can be painful because of like time put in or like
yeah,
feelings of obligation and stuff. Like,
exactly.
for example, like when I quit swimming competitively, I felt horrible, even though it was absolutely the right decision.
Yeah,
Like, um, I actually brought a good friend of ours, Clara, with me to do like the official quit because I kind of had to like I needed someone with me. Like I had to like kind of cry in the car about it,
yeah,
afterwards. It was so hard. Because like I felt like I was letting down people I really liked and cared about. I felt like I'd wasted time and all that. Like it's
yeah,
super hard. And like I think part of what is so difficult about starting new things or trying new things is that you may need to make space and let go of something else for it. And also, it might end up being a thing you have to quit,
yeah,
you know? Um,
yeah,
and also it can be really tricky to be like, okay, I'm gonna try this, and then to know to like just like nope, it's not working, it's not working, like that's fun. Like I did climbing for like 2 years pretty frequently, and I really liked it. And then somewhere along the line I was just like, no, I'm done, we're done, like
Yeah.
that's it. um
Yeah. I mean, it
and
happens.
yeah, and like that's tough.
Yeah.
And you something that's like really it's a good skill to learn, to be able to pick
Mhm.
up something new, try it, and also be okay if it doesn't work out or if you're not good at it or any number of things. Just like um be comfortable in that space. I will say I do think it is important also to know when to like stick out the tough bits of things,
Yes.
like
That is also a skill learned, like, through
yeah.
doing things and learning your about your it's like no one can tell you when to quit, like, only you can really figure that out, and you kinda have to, really listen to yourself, you know?
Yeah, learning the
And that
difference
can be really
between
hard.
yeah, learning the difference between the moment in which to bail and the moment in which to like endure, that's super tricky.
Yeah, because
Um,
sometimes you think you need to bail, and you actually just needed to endure.
yeah.
Um, Happens a lot, I think, in creative processes, right? Like, you bail in on an
Mhm.
idea, a year later, you come back to it, and you're like, "Why did I bail on this?" Um, and then by
Yeah.
that point, it's really difficult to kind of get back into that headspace.
Yeah, actually speaking of that, like I was about halfway through that novella I mentioned. Um
Mhm.
and I brought it to the writing group I'm in because I was just not sure. I was like, do I need to let this go? Is this like worth like because I'm like at the point where I'm like, this is like I'm at the struggling point with this. Like we're at the point where I'm like, it's not just like flowing super easy. So I'm gonna have to like dig in and find something. But is it working? Do I do that or bail? And I like had them read it and they were like the response was really positive and they're like, no, finish this, finish this. And like sometimes you do need to check in with people. Like I think that's something
Yeah.
that's often neglected. Like we're such an individualistic society, that
Mhm.
like sometimes I think we completely disregard the value of being like, you know what, I'm starting something new and I'm gonna need support. I'm gonna need someone to help me. I'm gonna like I need to check in and be like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Or like, like it's definitely good to not let any someone else's like opinions and don't let them make your decisions for you, of course.
Right.
But sometimes you need help.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I could be going to law school without Gracie and our roommate Kristen at my
Yeah.
back about this. Like,
Right.
I mean, maybe I could, but it'd be very different. Like, if I
Yeah.
was on my own, like I probably wouldn't have dogs. I wouldn't like be living in such a big place. But like
Right.
this being in the relationships I am, like in relationship with Gracie and the like being close roommates and good friends with Kristen and being like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing and like, you know what? I'm probably not going to be buying takeout for a while for the house. And if
Yeah.
we were doing takeout and you want me to be a part of it, I'm probably not going to be a contributor. Are you good with that?" Like, like these little things, right? Like,
Yeah.
like and taking on new stuff sometimes requires support, right? Like, and I'm so lucky that they're like so supportive. I don't know.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
my
that
words are
yeah.
failing me here.
No, I mean, you're right, like, I think a lot about how often you can feel alone, and sometimes the best part is to, vet it with other people, right? Like,
Mhm.
and like you said, don't let other people make your decisions for you, but it is good to talk to people about it. Like this web series, I, you know, I talked to a lot of people about it, and I got a lot of different feedback about like whether or not it was a good fit as a next step or next project, or if the idea even worked, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
at one point, the project got so big and so like unmanageable that I was like, I need to pump the brakes and talk to someone else about this who maybe can give me a different perspective. And that different perspective ended up informing the next step, which was to start stripping away things from it and make it a little bit easier to process and to make. And when I repitched it to the same folks, still liked it just as much. Um, but sometimes you can kind of you really got to feel out like when it is important to check in with people, because like you can only check in with yourself so much before you're just convincing yourself to endure, right?
or
Um,
to bail, or
yeah,
to not try
exactly,
something new, or that this like,
exactly,
or to take this
exactly.
crazy plunge that someone's like, hey, whoa, slow down, like,
Yeah,
like you like an outside force isn't a bad thing. And you know doing new things gets harder and harder the older you get,
yes.
you know, for all kinds of reasons.
Time, health, money, people, space, environment,
Habits,
habits. Yeah,
like literally, like one of the biggest barriers to law school for me has been the fact that like I'm gonna lose my income in a way,
hmm,
like, and it sounds so silly, right? Like it's like that very funny thing of like I've grown accustomed to a certain standard of living. But like I did, like I super did.
yeah,
And it's really hard to kind of come out the other side and be like, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm going to make some sacrifices here for this new thing. Especially when you're tied up with other people.
yeah,
Uh like I would do something completely different if I was like single and didn't have like puppies and stuff. Like I'd be like,
yeah,
fuck it. Like I'll go get this like some
yeah,
garbage 1 room apartment. Screw it. Like whatever. It's not a big deal. Like
yeah. Or like you'll live like me and just like eat leftovers for a month.
yeah, it's very
You
different.
know?
And
Yeah,
so like, but honestly, I think you people do need to do more new. And it doesn't have to be giant. It doesn't have to be law school. It doesn't have to be a
no,
web series. It doesn't, but like, you know, try a class, try a cooking class,
yeah,
just do a thing, like,
yeah. Or like, I don't know. I tried writing haikus every day, and I did that for 2 weeks.
hey,
Wasn't for me, but I tried
that's
it.
fine, but you tried
Yeah.
it. I like
Um.
little stuff,
Yeah.
like you said, keep your brain a sponge,
Yeah. Yeah. Never scoff at the opportunity to learn,
Mhm.
but also understand your energy and capacity and
Yeah,
work with
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I
Honestly,
think that's a good
it's
note.
good. That's a good
Yeah.
note, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Right in the
note.
pocket, right in the
Yeah, right
pocket
in the
on this
pocket.
one.
We did it. We
Yeah,
did it, Dane.
and
You were
we did it.
correct. Okay. Well, everybody, you can follow the show at Dane and Derek everywhere. Well, really just Twitter and Instagram. You can tweet at us if you want us to talk about other things. I guess. I don't know. I don't really check the Twitter that often. I should probably check it more. And you can see what movies I'm making on my website, derekaiello.com.
And you can find my writing at danewrites.com. There's a link to my Substack, which has just a collection of various bits of fiction and nonfiction and poetry. There's also links to my podcast and to music I've written in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
this was
This was good.
nice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Start
Thanks
something
for
new.
Yeah, start something new and let us know how it goes.
Yeah,
If you want.
or don't.
Anyhow. Or
Whatever.
don't,
It's
yeah.
your deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it's
mean,
your
you've already
life.
tried something new. You listened to a new episode
So
of a
yeah.
show. You did
Yeah.
it.
You did it. Good job. Sending hugs. All right. Thanks for hanging out with this week. We'll catch you next time.
Bye bye.